David Cameron should rethink his plans to allow same-sex marriage, according to a group of Conservative activists who say the measure has been bulldozed through. 23 current and former party officials signed a letter which was handed in to number 10. They claim there was a sense of betrayal among the grassroots. It's thought around 180 Conservative MPs are preparing to abstain or oppose the proposals when they go before the Commons on Tuesday, as Katie Razzall reports.
Men on a mission, desperate to persuade David Cameron to change his mind on gay marriage. You've resigned because of gay marriage. Why?
I have been engaged in writing to Conservative Central Office, to the Prime Minister, to others, getting exactly nowhere. And I decided that the best way left to me to actually make some kind of impact and get some press coverage was actually to resign.
Has it worked?
Yes, it has. I'm here.
Their letters on the newly launched Conservative Grassroots website and tells the Prime Minister,
"We are of the clear view that there is no mandate for this bill to be passed.
The letter ends,
Resignations from the party are beginning to multiply, and we fear that, if enacted, this bill will lead to significant damage to the Conservative Party in the run-up to the 2015 election."
The letter has 23 signatories from Scarborough to Taunton, Somerset to the Wirral, senior grassroots Conservatives who see Tuesday's vote as deeply damaging to the country and Conservative fortunes.
Andrew, I give you this ring.
Andrew, I give you this ring.
But the government argues its position in favour of allowing same-sex marriage is in line with public opinion. It's promised religious institutions won't be forced to carry out gay marriages.
I think it's an important principle that if we believe in marriage, we allow as many people as possible to access that institution. And actually, whilst there may be the odd person here and there who feels strongly enough that they're not going to stay on as a member, there'll be people maybe that haven't voted for us in the past that will have a different view of us as a result of making this change.
So how is this playing in places like leafy Surrey? The people behind the letter say the Conservative heartlands are up in arms and that Tory election chances, like at the council votes here in May, will be affected. We tried to test that claim today. One councillor told me,
3 or 4 high-profile members have resigned. The feeling is, we're the foot soldiers. We were never asked and we don't agree.
But another said he'd got
as many, if not more, people wanting to come and help with the county council elections. It's had no impact for me.
And others told me,
A few people are making a lot of noise.
The silent majority are in favour.
at the 11th hour, can these men really hope for change? They say they don't believe he's listening, but they want the Prime Minister to put party interests ahead of his own views. And with up to 180 MPs expected to vote against or abstain on Tuesday, the pressure is on. Cabinet Minister Owen Paterson is known to oppose gay marriage, as is Philip Hammond, the Defence Secretary. And there have been reports Ian Duncan-Smith is another who may not back David Cameron, along with several junior ministers and members of the Whip's office.
I've heard that about 100 MPs will vote in favour, and that's little more than, well, it's about a third of the Conservative Party voting for a bill that a Conservative leader puts forward. I mean, that's very odd.
Odder still, perhaps, would be if this letter changed the Prime Minister's mind. But the strength of opinion behind it will be known on Tuesday.
And with me now is the Conservative MP Peter Bone. Most opinion polls show that the public in general, more of the public, are in favour of gay marriage than are against it. Why should the Prime Minister listen to a minority?
Well, I think the issue isn't that. It's the fact there's no democratic majority. There's no mandate for this at all. It wasn't in any party manifesto. It wasn't in the Queen's speech. It isn't in the coalition agreement.
So it's just about the mandate, is it?
Yeah, I mean, what I take the simple view, let's put it to the people. Let's have a referendum. Let's not this odd collection of MPs who've got now who didn't stand on this make the decision. Let the British people make the decision.
You'd spend millions of pounds on a thing that the opinion polls show the British people generally are OK with. We're
not actually run by opinion polls, and when you have the opinion poll now, have the debate and see what happens. If this is such an important issue now, I might agree with you and say this is not an issue that should be debated now, and we've got more important things to do. If this had been in the party's manifestos, if it had been talked about, fair enough. It wasn't mentioned, wasn't talked about. This has come up out of the blue for no apparent reason other than perhaps rebranding the Conservative Party.
But you have to govern the whole country, not just the Conservative Party. And what you're saying to us is that group there, that terribly diverse bunch of old grey men, should be listened to more than the rest of the country.
No, that's exactly the opposite of what I said. I've said exactly the reverse. I've said your opinion and my opinion don't particularly matter. What matters is what the people in the country say. Let's have the argument, let's have a proper referendum on it, and let's see what the country decides. I'm actually saying the opposite of what you've just said.
I mean, how far would you and your colleagues in Parliament go? I mean, is this something, if you think this could cost you the election, could this cost David Cameron his job before the election?
I don't think it will cost us the election, and I absolutely don't think...
Oh, so you don't think you'd lose the election because of this?
No, I don't think...
Well, then what are you making a fuss about?
Because hang on, I'm not in here whether to win or lose it. I'm in the principle.
Their letter is all about the election. Their letter is all about this is going to cause great damage come the next election, and that's our great concern.
Due respect to him, I don't know anything about that particular letter. What my issue is, I personally don't agree with it, but then you may agree with it. Our opinions perhaps don't matter. It's what the person in the Dog and Duck says in Wellingborough. It's across the country. Let the people decide. It would solve the split in the Tory party.
But that's very interesting what you said. You said you don't think this will cost the Conservatives the next election, and you don't think it will cost David Cameron his job.
Absolutely
not. So, I mean, there's no reason why he should give a fig about this letter, is there?
Well, I think he should...
He may as well ignore it.
The Prime Minister should listen to the arguments about democracy and the fact that it wasn't in anyone's manifesto, wasn't in the Queen's speech, isn't in the coalition agreement, so why are we doing it now? Let's have a proper debate, have the arguments and have the referendum. After all, that's what we're going to do in Europe.
Peter Bone, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.